Uhuru. I'm Valerie Bronte, and I'm with Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and this is the March 9th Solidarity Spear Study Live. Please, as you're coming into the study today, share this to your timelines, share this to groups that are focused on anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, and African liberation. Share this in Messenger to friends and family. Let people know that you care about that an alternative to this sick capitalist system exists and how they can get involved with it today, right now. See that I have some viewers coming in, so put hashtag shared in the comments. Also, I want to say Uhuru to everyone joining me today. I want to say thanks for your participation in the Solidarity Spear Study Live every Saturday. We do this at 6 p.m. And let me tell you a little bit about Uhuru Solidarity Movement. As soon as we get started, we get a few more people in here. I want to say thank you for everyone that's sharing already. I see shares going out. Thank you for hearting. Yeah, definitely send us some love, send us some likes, send us some hearts. Put what you've been doing this week in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear any local meetings that you've had, any opportunities that you got to sell the burning spear, any events that you have coming up that you want to share. I do have announcements at the end, but if there are any reparations challenges that you're taking, I want to hear about those. I know there's a lot of exciting things I've been seeing on Facebook. Yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from today. I want to say Uhuru to Comrade Jackson. He's tuning in today from St. Pete, Florida. I want to thank you for sharing, Comrade Jackson. So we've got 7 viewers. If I can get to 10 viewers, I will start the broadcast. Today it's from having us from Asheville, North Carolina. Thanks for participating in the study today, comrade. All right, we got 11 viewers, so let's get started. Again, I'm Valerie Bronte of Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and we're the organization of white people. We organize for reparations to African people. We're working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. So please share. Again, as you're coming in, I want to thank you for joining me today. We do this every Saturday at 6 p.m. And I want to begin by saluting the leadership of Uhuru Solidarity Movement, the founder of the Uhuru Movement, and chairman of the African People's Socialist Party USA and African Socialist International, Chairman Omali Yeshitela. I want to appreciate the chairman for creating African internationalism, the materialist political worldview, and science that describes the conditions of colonialism from the perspective of the African working class and helps us understand how Black power, both economic and political, will destroy colonialism. So members of Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we have 3 principles of unity. Number 1, we work under the leadership of and are accountable to the African People's Socialist Party. Number 2, African people have the right to lead their own struggle. And number 3, we organize in the white community for reparations. So what does it mean to be, what is the African People's Socialist Party? What does it mean to be under the leadership of the party? So the African People's Socialist Party is led by Chairman Omali Yeshitela. It was founded in 1972 by merging of 3 Black power organizations, JOMO, the junta of militant organizations, the Black Rights Fighters from Fort Myers, Florida, and the Black Study Group of Gainesville, Florida. The party leads the struggle of the African working class and the oppressed masses of the world against parasitic capitalism, colonialism, and Western imperialism with the goal of total African liberation. The party recognizes that Black people are not a race or a color. African people are a nation of people whose birthright is Africa. They are African wherever colonialism has displaced them. And additionally, the African People's Socialist Party recognizes that African people within U.S. colonial borders are domestically, that is, internally colonized. They've had their labor and resources stolen from them by white power. And the African People's Socialist Party, in building Black power, both economic and political, leads 30 institutions, including the Black Power Blueprint campaign of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, These are economic development and community organizing institutions all over the country, and there have been some in Africa as well, as there are as the movement is growing and African internationalism is growing around the world. So the Solidarity movement is one of the most unique features of the African People's Socialist Party, is that in 1982, Chairman Omali Yeshitela made the revolutionary demand for white reparations to African people a household word with the 1982 tribunal in Brooklyn, New York on reparations. And out of this, this revolutionary demand for white reparations grew the Solidarity movement, which was originally founded in 1976. The party founded the African People's Solidarity Committee to have a principled place for white people to join the struggle. And it's been led by Chairwoman Penny Hess for the last 43 years. So the word reparations means payment or repair for damage done. And the demand is growing around the world for reparations for colonialism, parasitic capitalism, and imperialism, and certainly chattel slavery and genocide that was committed against Africa by Europeans and North Americans. So white people owe reparations, not just for the crass labor value of chattel slavery, but as Penny Hess has written, the enslavement of the African people is the cornerstone upon which the wealth and power of the US and Europe is built. For more than 500 years, the rape and colonization of Africa, along with the genocide of the indigenous peoples and the domination of the majority of the world. So I just, again, want to be clear, but Solidarity, we're an organization of white people who understand that our interest is not on the sinking ship of imperialism, is not on the sinking ship of the white ruling class, but is with a totally liberated future where no one group has their boot on the necks of the rest of the world. So I want to salute Chairwoman Penny Hess, the African People's Solidarity Committee, leading the Solidarity cadre. The Uhuru Solidarity Movement is the mass mass organization of the African People's Solidarity Committee. So Chairwoman Penny Hess is also the author of Overturning the Culture of Violence and All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds. Those are available at burningspearmarketplace.com. Uhuru Solidarity Movement is led by Chair Jesse Neville with wonderful leadership and creativity. And so that's just one of the things that the mass movement is all about, is like, as white people under the leadership of the African working class, we're able to take this principled stance of solidarity, and in return, everything gained at the expense of everyone else on the pedestal of colonial oppression, we can return our skills, ability, and talents as reparations to the African Revolution. So we study the Burning Spear newspaper every week as part of being under the leadership of the party. And so I want to salute the Burning Spear newspaper. It has been published without interruption since 1968. It is the only revolutionary newspaper that is still in print that can say that. It is led by the Department of Agitation Propaganda, directed by Director Akile Anai, and the managing editor of the Burning Spear is Olufemi Kemba, who leads the Spear publication every month. And it is the voice of the International African Revolution. It's print and it's online. It's published monthly by the party, and takes the events of the world today and issues facing African working class, and brings understanding through the political lens of African internationalism. Like I said, that is the political philosophy that was developed by Chairman Omali Yeshitela. So as white people, like, the reason that, you know, this is part of the leadership is that we can't properly understand or articulate conditions of colonialism from our perspective as the beneficiaries, as the oppressors, as the colonizers. So this is why it's important for us to deepen our political education and understanding, and that deepens our political unity. And so we say Uhuru. We say Uhuru as a greeting. We say Uhuru as, like, you know, right on confirmation. It's the Swahili word for freedom, and the party calls upon us to keep freedom on our minds 24/7. So I'm really happy to bring to you the Spear Study today. I want to see how many people we have joined us right now. Okay, 17 people, Uhuru. That's really awesome. I want to say Uhuru to Kristen Forthen, tuning in from Spokane, Washington. See, I've said it right 3 studies in a row now. Ella Cadre, tuning in from St. Louis, Missouri. Uhuru comrades. And Nicholas Joseph, Uhuru. I don't know what that means. POYB, I don't know. Uhuru Ali, Comrade Ali, tuning in from Boston. Thanks for joining us today. So today's article comes from the February 2019 burn, getting my March spears really soon, and we'll be going in deep with all the great articles from the March spear, but I always love doing the centerfold of every burning spear is the point of the spear. And that is the column that's edited by Chairman Omali Yeshitela. So it features the chairman's writings. This is an excerpt from the 2017 plenary of the African People's Socialist Party that was entitled Putting Revolution Back on the Agenda. And the title is, What Will a Liberated Africa Look Like? And it's really powerful. I'm really excited. There, Orellana says, salute Red Argentina AR comrades. Uhuru, salute. Okay, so I'm happy to begin reading. If you have your spear with you, you can follow along. Unfortunately, the point of the spear is not online right now. So get your subscriptions to the Burning Spear newspaper for the spear study. Okay, so Point of the Spear by Chairman Omali Yeshitela. The following is an excerpt from the political report to the 2017 plenary of the African People's Socialist Party, Putting Revolution Back on the Agenda. Uhuru, David Rold from Massachusetts. Thanks for joining us on the Spear Study. Awesome. Okay. Since that time, after many setbacks, serious class battles within the African community, and the establishment of neocolonialism as a generalized condition for African people, we are forced to look beyond national liberation to the question of what kind of society we are fighting for, and to identify the social forces necessary to achieve it. Africans, once a free people existing with their own and independent economies in Africa, have been transformed into commodities, first capital, and producers of capital, first workers, within a social system defined by the relationship between capitalist production and producers, resting on a foundation of slavery and the colonial domination of peoples and territories. National liberation serves the purpose of freeing Africans from the direct foreign domination. However, direct foreign domination is not necessary for vicious, life-draining economic exploitation, either by foreign or domestic capital. National liberation under the leadership of the African petty bourgeoisie leaves in place a system of exploitation. African toilers and producers continue to be exploited under the aegis of a domestic flag, maybe, as in Libya, a red, black, and green flag. To be victorious, a revolution must take place under the leadership of the African working class. This is the role of the African People's Socialist Party, the advanced detachment, the general staff of the African working class. Only the African working class, aligned with other toilers, especially the poor peasants, has a stake in destroying the entire system of exploitation and all of its attendant structures, including the artificial borders that exploit Africa, but function as the incubators for the reproduction of the neocolonial petty bourgeois class as a social force. Only the African working class is compelled to fight for the destruction of class society and the exploitation that produced it. Under the independent revolutionary leadership of the African working class, organized under the African internationalist principles, victory will mean the defeat of the foreign imperialists and their domestic minions. It will mean that the toilers, the workers and poor peasants in particular, will become the new temporary ruling class, the custodians of the means of production, now owned and controlled by capitalists, mostly foreign. Liberation under the leadership of the African internationalist informed workers, organized into the African People's Socialist Party, will mean the end of economic exploitation, and once the imperialists and the petty bourgeois neocolonialists have been crushed, the end of all exploitation. This means that African women who play a fundamental role in the liberation of our Africa will rise to full stature with all rights and authority this infers. This means a major assault will be made against all restrictions on the rights of women that hide under the flimsy, in most cases, false mask of quote-unquote tradition. Nor will African liberation under the leadership of the African working class tolerate social, economic, and political oppression of sectors of the African nation and working class because of a spurious bourgeois morality. We condemn the morality and relations that permit Europeans, white people, imperialist corporations, countries, and neocolonial thugs to exploit our people's lives and resources in Africa and to flaunt laws protecting sovereignty, the environment, and customs with impunity while attacking African people and the working class based on sexual orientation or relations between same-gender loving individuals. The liberated African worker state will only oppress the imperialists and the neocolonialists who have surrendered Africa's future to them. We will call on the entire African working class based on the false contradictions of sexual identity, ethnic identity, and regional and religious differences. Control of the means of production. The African revolution that liberates and unites Africa and African people under African internationalism, the organized, conscious, and victorious leadership of the African working class will be the death knell of imperialist white power and capitalism as a world economy. It will finally allow for the African workers to take social possession of the means of production. Our victory will mean the entire process of production, mining, building, manufacturing, shipping, distribution, etc., will occur through workers' councils throughout the production process. This will guarantee safety and creativity throughout. Workers will not approve going into mines that are unsafe, and improvement in the productive process will not be motivated by profit that has no regard for the safety and proficiency otherwise, but by the needs and aspirations of workers as producers and consumers. Additionally, because the state of the African economy, smothered by the whims and requirements of imperialist white power, has minimal industrial development, much of the lackluster economic life is centered in the countryside. The African internationalist revolution will be the first major step in the world in resolving the contradiction between the city and the countryside. The full rapid development of Africa will require it. To reorganize the African economy, full-fledged foreign imperialist exploiters. Every bit of food, grown or not grown, every factory, every decision to develop a diamond, gold, iron, or bauxite mine, instead of production that satisfies our needs, is imperialist-driven. It has been an imperialist-driven economy that has driven so many African men, women, and children from the artificially created cruel conditions of the countryside into unsanitary and overcrowded cultural crushing cities. It takes a village. The African working class as a transitory ruling class will organize production based on the real needs of the people rather than the contrived and profit-driven, profit-motivated needs of the capitalists. Collective housing, neighborhood councils with the power to solve domestic problems, efficient public transportation, African educational systems, literacy eradication programs, centers for music, cultural development and socializing, birthing programs, and socialist care for our elderly, time and centers for reflection, revolutionary rehabilitation programs, efficient public transportation, barefoot doctors deployed into the community, as in China and as in Cuba, places where lovers can go for privacy will become ordinary features of life, overturning the horrible day-to-day grind that characterizes our reality today. Even the form of the family will be reorganized under the dictatorship of the African workers' state. It will allow adults to enter into agreements of relationship that are free from economic compulsion. Women will be assured economic independence, so financial duress will not be a factor that determines their commitment to a relationship, nor enslaves their emotions. The immediate role of the African workers' state will be to function as a protector of society against incestuous, exploitative, and oppressive relationships and their consequences. African men and women can determine whatever arrangements they contract among themselves, with the state functioning as arbiter only until the time when the rule of habit and tradition overturn the rule of the state that becomes unnecessary in human affairs. Our party also has a deep commitment to the well-being of our recognizing that under the system of parasitic capitalism, our children live with daily trauma. They are dipped up and gunned down by the colonial police and tormented in the white school system. The African People's Socialist Party follows in the footsteps of the African Revolution of Haiti, whose victory in 1804 produced a progressive constitution that for the first time in history abolished all the notion of an illegitimate child, to the nurturing and protection of every child. The African adage declaring the role of the village in raising a child will be given. Women will be freed from the burden as isolated, individually primary caregivers. The family now becomes the society in a relationship that has the force of law and collective resources of the people that have been liberated from their role as surplus under private ownership within the capitalist system. So this means the institution of state-funded and administered nurseries and childcare that benefit parents and children in a manner that could never happen under colonial capitalist society developed through the commodification of African parents and children. Parents of the community at large will be able to engage in a stress-free, non-competitive relationship with our children. The African internationalist liberation and unification of Africa and Africans worldwide will be the major blow to destroy the entire capitalist system that was an outgrowth of colonialism, the fundamental instrument in the emergence of world socialism, providing the defining direction for the world economy. The achievement of African international socialism All right, I guess I zapped off for a second. Okay, the internet cut out a little bit. I wonder if I'm still on. It looks like I'm still on. It says live. Okay. So the last paragraph was that the achievement of the African internationalist socialism will be the essential force in the achievement of permanent world peace. This is really essential. Easily understood, and it is. It's easily understood when it is recognized that most wars are fought by states contending with each other and with peoples for profit-generating markets and resources. We will replace capitalist competition with socialist cooperation, something not possible before now. And then there's some photos here. This is the National Central Committee of the African People's Socialist Party, AKA the best sons and daughters of Africa. That's the chairman right there. I had to turn down my resolution on my video, so I hope you can see it. Okay, and this is the Chairman Omali Yeshitela reading the political report, which was adopted by the entire party at the 7th Congress, which I had the wonderful honor to be at in St. Louis at Aquaba Hall at the Uhuru House, which was built by the Black Power Blueprint, built, you know, as soon as we said, you know, that he built, it was just raised and meat construction that was happening, and exciting developments happened all last year, which you got to see and be a part of and participate in, and happened because of the support of the community and because of, you know, white people who wanted to return reparations and because of volunteers who wanted to see, you know, a liberated territory happen in, you know, North St. Louis, in the African working class community of St. Louis. So here are members and supporters of the African People's Socialist Party saluting the red, black, and green national flag. And that is across the street from the Uhuru House in St. Louis. It is a 50-foot flagpole flying a 25-foot red, black, and green African flag high over the rooftops of North St. Louis. It's absolutely beautiful. People, you know, stop and take photos with it. Cars slow down. It is liberated territory. Within the African working class community. It's beautiful. So here, comrades Cameron and Equan celebrating the 2019 MLK Day victory in St. Pete, Florida, taking power into our own Black hands. So what that is referencing there was the party bringing a struggle to the city of St. Pete in the month of January and insisting upon the relocation, not the relocation, but the relocation into, back to the working class African community in St. Pete, back to South St. Pete, as opposed to being transferred and contained in Tropicana Field. Tropicana Field was built on top of the gas plant district of St. Pete, which was a thriving economic center and African working class neighborhood that was demolished to make room for Tropicana Field. And then the city of St. Pete wanted to contain the MLK Day celebrations to a bunch of overpriced, hand-selected vendors in Tropicana Field. And the party brought struggle with the community united, was able to bring the MLK Day celebrations and the freedom of restriction from the vendors back to South St. Pete. So that's, incredible victory, just further evidence that the party is the advanced detachment, is the vanguard leadership that is necessary to bring real economic development and real political consciousness to the community. So I want to certainly salute that recent victory. That was really incredible. So a couple of thoughts on this article, and certainly put your comments into the comment thread. I want to hear questions. I want to hear comments. Let's get discussion going. So, the essential features of this that stand out for me, this is incredibly profound and beautiful groundwork for us to build for, to imagine in this world of permanent. So African liberation, of course, cannot occur under the neo-colonial conditions of exploitation that African civil Africa is properly understood as neo-colonial, and it supports a class society in Africa that is the reason for the intense and cruel conditions of poverty that we see, is that this class system that exists that is immediately descendant from colonialism. So we cannot expect African liberation to happen on its own. It has to be led by the African working class. And it's also not going to continue under continued imperialist attacks by the West on Africa for control of her resources that come in the form of humanitarian aid or debt restructuring programs or any of the other ways that the international banking structure parasitically benefits from the turmoil and strife in Africa, which is often artificially created by Western powers to destabilize the rule of law there so that they can take advantage of the vulnerabilities of a community. And of course, the violence that displaces people, displaces them right into slave-like conditions in the mind. So that's something that we really need to understand, that all of this is really connected. So this is why the party says that the road to socialism is painted black, because under these conditions, true socialism can't emerge anywhere until Africa is liberated as a necessary condition for world socialism. And another thing the party, says, or the chairman says, is that imperialism, parasitic capitalism, it cannot survive a successful reparations struggle. That is the return of resources stolen from Africa and African people. So African liberation is like this profound upheaval. It's the only kind that will be able to overturn white power once and for all. And that's, this really positive and an incredible future that could lay ahead for us, for every person. And understand that as the beneficiaries on this pedestal of colonialism as white people, we have no idea what it's like to be under the conditions of colonialism as a colonized person. I don't think that we really readily, materially, or viscerally grasp how majority of the world lives on less than $10 a day, with almost 50% of the world living on less than $2.50 a day. And I think, that's something that we all need to really feel and to really understand, that our entire lifestyle is at the expense of the rest of the world. our entire North American, European, Canadian, Australian bourgeois lifestyle is at the expense of the rest of the world. And we have to say no more. We have to say, I understand that the primary unity, colonial struggle being led by the African People's Socialist Party, from us, from the beneficiaries of colonialism and imperialism, is coming under the leadership of the International African Revolution. And, we're advancing, we're part of a strategy that was developed by the African People's Socialist Party to advance this revolution into the belly of the beast, advancing the revolutionary demand for reparations into the white community, and saying, yeah, we owe reparations for slavery and genocide. And part of this is going to be what overturns this entire system of imperialism and parasitic capitalism. And historically, white people have not been under the leadership of the African working class, and we've sold out abolition movements, civil rights movements, the Black Power movements of the 60s, or our comfort were challenged or struggled with. So, what we're looking at now is now is the opportunity, now is the time for white people to take a serious stance of principled unity with African liberation struggle. And that is the solidarity, Che Guevara said, is victory or death. So the only thing you have to resist of the if you're willing to divest yourself from white power. So, this is the opportunity that exists under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. This is the opportunity that exists to forward the revolutionary demand for reparations into the white community. So, as part of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we to the programs for economic development and self-determination of the party, like the Black Power Blueprint program of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, which built the Uhuru House in St. Louis and cleared the dilapidated buildings across the street for the One Africa, One Nation marketplace and outdoor event venue, and community gardens, the Gary Brooks Community Gardens, that they were planting the beautiful cherry, pear, and apple trees that the internet went out a little bit. Sorry. So we're working on that, just a little bit of a technical difficulty. Thank you for staying with me. But yeah, as part of our Uhuru Solidarity Movement, we put our money where our mouth is, and we raise reparations every week as appreciation for the political education of African internationalism and the Burning Spear newspaper. And, you know, as you know, putting our towards the Black Power Blueprint, we have possible. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, we won't have very many more internet contradictions, but this study's goal is to get one person that's watching right now to join Uhuru Solidarity Movement. If you unite with our 3 principles of unity, if you unite with working towards a future for all people where no one lives at the expense of another, you need to join Uhuru Solidarity Movement. And we are raising $75 today towards the Black Power Blueprint for phase 3.1 of the Uhuru Jiko Community Kitchen, which will be a cafe, home of Uhuru Foods and Pies. We have a national distribution center. And in addition to that, it's going to house the African Independence Workforce Training Program. So I can't think of anything more powerful to support than that right now. So please put your pledges in the comments. We have 8 people. One returns $10 today will make our steady goal of $75. So put your pledges in the comments, and I'm going to let you know about all the incredible events coming up from Uhuru Solidarity Movement. We have a speaking tour that's going on right now nationally. That's really exciting. We have our convention coming up next month at the Uhuru House in St. Louis. I want to salute to Evan Garner from Asheville, North Carolina. Uhuru, I'm going to pledge $10 in stolen resources to the study now. Yes, go to uhurusolidarity.org, click the red button that says pay reparations, and put your pledge in today. I'm going to also pledge $10 to the study, so that will get us up to $20 towards our $75 goal, and we have $55 left for this goal. I just want to go through a couple of announcements too. All right, because there was some discussion to shout out everybody. Okay, I want to shout out John Hill Jr. Yeah, the People's Radio, WBAI.org is New York City based. It's amazing. Okay, let's see. Pancho Conejo Gonzalez Lopez. What about people that are mixed race, such as those that are Hispanic, South American, with African slave heritage? Shouldn't they also be entitled to the payment program? Well, this isn't exactly a discussion of a payment program. It's a discussion of, a global liberation of all colonized people under the leadership of the African working class. So as an African person that has been displaced to South America, if you want to learn more about this organization and about the African People's Socialist Party's website, apspuhuru.org, and you can also go to the International People's Democratic Movement, which is the mass organization of the party, impedum.org. And may my awesome moderator, Comrade Johan in Largo, Florida, could put those links in there, but I'll try to put them in there as well. But there is a role for everybody that is, a part of, a genuine, that has wants to live in a genuinely beautiful, liberated future. I want to learn, get in touch with them if this is learn all about the platform of the African People's Socialist Party and the mass organization and how you can be a part of it. Uhuru, Ali Flo Ayello. I love this article. Can never settle for anything less than a future that the chairman talks about. I'm putting in $10 for sure. Uhuru, comrade. Yes, exactly. This is, for all of the possible things that you could be fighting for. We see that the world is in crisis. We see this very clearly through our studies of African internationalism. We see that imperialism is in crisis, that capitalism is in crisis, and we see that as an ecosystem, the ocean is about to collapse within a generation. And and this is just unthinkable, the amount of suffering that this is going to cause. And that's what propels this urgency towards this future that the chairman. Uhuru, okay, I had Uhuru, I pledged to return $10 in stolen resources tonight. That's from Ella Cadre, fabulous comrade in St. Louis. Thank you so much, comrade. Okay, that gets us up to 30. Uhuru, I'll match Evan and Ella returning $10. That gets us up to 40. Uhuru, comrade Kristen from Spokane. Okay, so we're at 40, and then with Ali, we're at 50. We have $25 left to go, and I really appreciate all the comrades that participate every week in the Solidarity Sphere study. I want to thank everybody who returns resources every week to this program. It's incredibly important for us as Solidarity comrades to deepen our political education every week, and this is one of the ways that we do it. Studying the burning spear, selling the burning spear in our communities, and bringing African internationalism into the white community. That is how we are executing the strategy of the African People's Socialist Party as solidarity forces, advancing the international African revolution into the white community, into the belly of the beast. David Roll, tuning in from Boston today. Thank you, Comrade Uhuru. I pledge $5 in reparations tonight. Yes. Thank you very much. That gets us up to $55, and we have today and Tuesday, and all of the rest of the events of the All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds tour, where you can actually return your diamonds, your conflict diamonds, your blood diamonds, to the African People's Socialist Party as a form of reparations, and then buy them back as certified liberated diamonds. So not just certified Kimberly process colonial mine diamonds, but certified liberated diamonds, diamonds that have been vouched for by the African Revolution. All right, so March 12th at 7 p.m. on YouTube and on Uhuru Solidarity Movement's Facebook page, where you are at right now. So click the button to get notification. As soon as we go live, we'll be live March 12th, that's Tuesday night at 7 p.m. with the CIA, the world's biggest drug dealer. This is this episode of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement web show. We'll expose the history of the CIA's role in trafficking cocaine into the African communities in the United States, how Chairman Omali Yeshitela and the Uhuru movement exposed this way long before it was later corroborated by San Jose Mercury News reporter Gary Webb, and how the United States war on drugs is actually a cover for colonial war against the African population, and how this has resulted in the locking up of millions of Black men and women, and just their being in prison fuels a parasitic capitalist economy of convict leasing that is essentially slavery. And this web show on Tuesday is benefiting the Black Power Blueprint as well. Thursday, March 15th, 7 p.m. in St. Pete, Florida, is the All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds Tour St. Pete stop, which is featuring the African People's Socialist Party Director of Agitation and Propaganda, Director Akile Anayi, and African People's Solidarity Committee Chairwoman Penny Hess. Presentations from them will be sure to be absolutely powerful and electrifying. Saturday, March 17th at 4 p.m. in Gainesville is the All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds Tour event, featuring Director of Agitprop Akile Anayi and Uhuru Solidarity Movement Chair Jesse Neville. Friday, March 22nd at 3:30 p.m. in Portland, Oregon, All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds Tour will be featuring presentation of Socialist Israel Finn and USM Chair Jesse Neville. Saturday, March 23rd, 6 p.m. in Seattle. Again, it will be All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds tour with Israel Finn of the African People's Socialist Party and USM Chair Jesse Neville. Sunday, March 24th, 1 p.m. in Oakland, All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds tour featuring African People's Socialist Party member and Uhuru Foods market coordinator Bakari Alatunji and USM Chair Jesse Neville. Monday, March 25th, 6:30 p.m. in St. Louis will be the All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds tour featuring African People's Socialist Party member T'Charwa Masimba and African People's Solidarity Committee Chair Penny Hess. And then Wednesday, March 27th and 6 p.m. at Louisville, Kentucky, All Diamonds Are Blood Diamonds featuring African People's Socialist Party member T'Charwa Masimba and African People's Solidarity Committee member Casey Mackey. Uhuru. That's a really powerful tour. I'm just still coming off the thrill of the New York date that I got to attend and be a part of. That was really incredible with African National Women's Organization President Yejide Oranmila and Chairwoman Penny Hess of the African People's Solidarity Committee. So coming up, if you're uniting with what you're hearing right now, I would need you to be at the Uhuru Solidarity Movement 2019 National Convention that's in St. Louis, Missouri at the Uhuru House. Be there. Doors open at 9 every day. It'll be a Friday and Sunday present community challenge where white people can unleash their creativity and their skills that they gleaned at the expense of the rest of the world on the pedestal of colonialism, can return their skills and talents as reparations fundraisers. Every Yeshitela, and that's always incredibly powerful. So if this sounds like something you want to be a part of, you need to know about our local meetings, and we have tons, and our national meetings as well. So tomorrow, Sunday at 2 p.m. every Sunday, you can learn more about taking the Reparations Challenge, which is building your own fundraiser to return reparations to the Black Power Blueprint. There's an open mass meeting every Sunday, and there's more information about it on their Facebook event page. Sunday, 7 p.m. USM Seattle Spokane has their open meeting at Urban Work Loft Seattle. It can also be attended by Zoom. So there will be a Zoom link if you email uhurcall@gmail.com. So Mondays at 6:30, USM Boston has their open meeting at the Boston Public Library at Copley Square in the Newspeak Cafe. Monday, 6 p.m., USM Asheville in North Carolina has their open meetings at Firestorm Books and Coffee, and that's 610 Haywood Road in Asheville. Monday, 6 p.m., St. Louis has their open meeting at Lemp Neighborhood Arts Center. Monday, 6 p.m., USM St. Pete has their open meeting at Panera Bread, and that's 1908 4th Street North in St. Petersburg. Mondays at 7 p.m. is USM Oakland's open meeting at Cafe Strata in Berkeley, and Thursdays, 7 p.m., USM has their open meeting for Philly at the Good Karma Cafe, 928 Pine Street in Philly. And Fridays, if you're interested in learning about building convention, that committee meets every Friday at 11. Artists, and you want to return your art as a stance of reparations, you can get involved with Art for Reparations 2019 benefit auction, and submissions are open now. So go to artforreparations.org. Okay, and those are all of our announcements. We have 12 people watching. I am looking for one person to join Uhuru Solidarity Movement today, and I'm looking for $20 more. Uhuru, Comrade Johan is going to do $5, so we're down to the final $15. Who's got $15? So we can make our pledge today. to the Black Power Blueprint. So what's the Black Power Blueprint? That's where all the resources are going. So like I said, the Black Power 18 opened the doors of the Uhuru House, and in 2019 is going to open the doors of the Uhuru Chico Community Commercial Kitchen, which, like I said, will be the new flagship location and national center for Uhuru Foods and Pies, which is one of the economic programs of the African People's Socialist Party. So there's the African Independence Workforce Training Program that's also going to be housed by the Uhuru Chico Community Kitchen, and will also allow community members to jumpstart their own businesses there by having a community commercial kitchen to rent, to start their own bakery business, to start their own catering business. And this is 100% controlled by, the African working class. These are the programs for self-determination and economic development that don't exist anywhere else, especially not in North St. Louis, which has been absolutely, just assaulted and attacked by colonialism. We have a comment here. Okay, how do I get this back up on here? Okay, I guess I just have to read it. Ella Cadre says, I just want to say thank you to Chairman Omali Yeshitela, the African People's Socialist Party, the African People's Solidarity Committee, Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and V Rose tonight for the study. As a white person, the principles of unity and African internationalism are the only thing that makes sense in this crazy world that white imperialists, colonists, and capitalists have created in unity with you all, and can't wait to see you in St. Louis for the convention and for the All Diamond or Blood Diamond tour events. Uhuru, comrade, I cannot wait to meet you. I cannot wait. It's going to be so great. The convention is going to be awesome. Pancho Conejo Gonzalez Lopez, what about Hispanic people? Shouldn't get all, not just the gold, but the silver and the land, all of it. And so it's important to say now that the Uhuru Solidarity Movement is under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, again, and the African People's Socialist Party has been celebrating over 30 years of solidarity with the struggle of Mexican indigenous people for control of their land back, which was stolen under colonialism, and certainly stolen, the ongoing devastation of the indigenous people that happened within the borders of the United States, certainly, and the concentration camp, like what are called Indian reservations today. So yes, and that is part of social solidarity with, and has enjoyed a solidarity relationship with Unión del Barrio for over 30 years. And I want to say that's a great question, because yes, it's just the leadership of the African working class, as the chairman writes, they're the only ones that have a stake in upending class society. And as we see, we can't have world socialism unless Africa is free. Until Africa is free, there won't be world socialism, because there will always be that first worker. The African working class is the primary working class. So they have the largest stake in upending this system of exploitation where people are living at the expense of each other. So we have $15 left for our pledge today, and we have 5 minutes and 11 viewers. If everyone gives $5 more to their pledge, we will surpass our goal amazingly. If you just want to join me in giving $5 more to your pledge, I just need 2 people to join me, and we will have met our goal today. So I will be returning $15 total. I need 2 more people to join me so that we can raise $75 today, which is our study. And my live stream is working. My internet is working. So let's make it count. Let's make it matter. And if anyone is doing a reparations challenge, definitely put that in the, because I want to talk about your reparations challenge. I know that Rose Latoul in Oakland is doing tarot readings, and that is going to be a really awesome reparations challenge. I know that I'm going to get a tarot reading to return resources. That's going to be so cool, so cool. Uhuru, I can't do this all the time, But unless there are others who are about to step up, I am finishing the goal and returning an additional $15. I just need an extra $5, comrade. Join me with $5 and another person will join you with $5. And then we'll meet the goal. Because I said I'm going to return 15. And if you want to return an extra 5 and someone else can return an extra 5, we'll meet our goal. But in the past, I was looking, organization that had a principled relationship with this of reparation. We can see reparations, huge talking conversation about that's material about, bringing, protecting the African community. Uhuru, yes, Uhuru, 5 it is. Okay, yeah, so we're good. So we're down to the final $5. So if you have $5, let us know, because this is what we're talking about. And we're making tours in our communities, and we sell the burning spear in the white community. So $5 more. Who's got $5 more? So yeah, this is what we're talking about. Like, material solidarity is really the only stance of meaningful solidarity from those who are the beneficiaries of the social system that exploits the entire rest of the world. This is what, we think is essential to understand, and we learn all of this through the teachings of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and African internationalism. So another $5. I got 10 viewers. Who's got the other $5? We will have made our goal. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Again, I need one more person to join our Solidarity movement. So these are 3 principles of unity. If you unite with our 3 principles of unity, I think that you should be a comrade. We work under the are accountable to the African people. African people will be free. The reason that imperialism and capitalism are in crisis right now is because of the righteous of colonies, people of control, and this is the future that we want to be a part of. We realize that imperialism, the white ruling class, and the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, all sinking ship in this desperate and craven grab for we're seeing happen in Venezuela, right? Destabilizing further through military intervention to take control of one of the largest in the glaring intention is that there's no humanitarian crisis there that wasn't created by the sanctions that the United States and OPEC put the actions of OPEC to destabilize the oil markets to hurt both Russia and Venezuela. It was like a 1-2 punch between the United States and the Saudis to completely collapse the price of oil. So it's important for us to understand how political events are based in this parasitism, in this economic parasitism. Ella Cadre says, yes, Ali Flo Ayello, Uhuru. And why? Because Ali is also going to match the $5, and we've raised $75 this week. Like, we raise $75 every single week to the Black Power Blueprint. You can learn more about it. But Okay, I'm coming to the end. But I want to say thank you to everyone who participated today. And I want to answer Devin Stower's question. How much reparations have you paid? Well, the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in 2018 raised $100,000 to the Black Power Blueprint. And we intend to raise more because growing unity community movement, part of this beautiful, the future Africa where no one lives at the expense of anyone else. You don't have to be a part of this sad, opiate addicted, suicidal, parasitic capitalist system where people are burning trash in Philly. And then burning trash in Philly forever. I'm sorry to say that capitalism is just going to continue to destroy the planet and the opportunities and future for any of us, and that includes all of your children. Or you can actively struggle for a different world, for a liberated Africa, just like the chairman laid out today. So thank you for participating in the study today. Thank you for raising $75 in reparations and returning the resources that are stolen and hoarded in the white community to the International African Revolution. Uhuru, see you next Saturday at 6 p.m.